Welcome to Jobs and Pods, the only podcast where you can hear real employers, leading recruiters, and staffing agencies talk about their jobs and how to get them. I'm your host, Peter Clayton. This Jobcast will feature Adam Hutchison with GE Healthcare's Commercial Leadership Program, known as CLP. CLP is an 18-month leadership training program created to accelerate the development of entry-level talent. CLP is specifically designed to build the next generation of leaders within GE Healthcare. Qualified candidates can expect a great deal of exposure and job experience from 3 challenging rotations in multiple locations within GE Healthcare. It includes formal classroom training in GE's state-of-the-art facilities, mentoring from senior leadership and career planning, leading to a full-fledged commercial role. Adam, thank you for speaking with us today on Jobs and Pods. And to start off with, can you describe a typical day for us as part of the Commercial Leadership Program and tell us about some of the projects you've been working on?
Sure thing, Peter. First off, I just want to thank you so much for having me today. And, the first thing I'll start with in describing my job is kind of touching on the 3 challenging rotations you mentioned a little bit earlier.
Okay.
So within the CLP, during the first phase, your typical day may start out where you're shadowing different reps in the field, whether it's someone in ultrasound or CT. So you'll get up early in the morning, drive out to an account for a meeting you previously scheduled, and you'll spend the day shadowing a rep in the territory, really to learn from their best practices when it comes to customer relations management or just general sales practices. So that's one of the key elements to the first phase. And at the tail end of that phase, to touch on one of the projects I worked on, I was actually able to go into hospitals where we had a previous relationship, and I would talk about some of our projects and our products that we are developing at GE Healthcare. So say I would go into an account and meet with a cardiologist at a hospital and, with their permission, speak to them for a few minutes about our product portfolio, some of our new tools and technologies on our ultrasound systems, and hopefully at the end of that meeting have a second meeting lined up and a demo lined up where we could possibly show them our systems and use it on a potential patient to lead towards a purchase.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and honestly, coming right out of college as an undergrad, it's a tremendous opportunity to go right into the field and meet the cardiologists, meet the sonographers, meet the people that work in the hospital, because you don't get that chance or that opportunity down the road when you're actually managing your own territory. So I took advantage of that very much so during my first phase. If I could touch on kind of the second phase of training real briefly, that's actually where I am currently, and I am at the GE Healthcare America's headquarters. And what I've been doing is really working on 4 key projects. And these 4 projects had been passed down from executive management within GE Healthcare, from businesses within ultrasound or potentially outside of ultrasound on the corporate side. But what it all boils down to is that during this phase, not only are you tasked to deliver on these projects, whether it's giving a presentation to one of the executives on any assignment they may give you, or strategizing based on a project that already exists. At the end of the day, you have 4 projects with a great amount of information within them. So really, what this offers an opportunity for is I get to leverage my strengths that I developed while I was an undergrad while managing these 4 projects, communicating with executives, and I also have to work on prioritizing the work I do, because every day of the week, the executives I'm working with are expecting some form of a deliverable or some form of communication. So it takes a lot, and honestly, I'm into my first week here. Seems like a lot of work, but that's what we sign up for here. It's the kind of exposure you get with working with executives, and their expectations are certainly high based on what work they've seen from CLPs in the past. So I'm working towards really making an impact within these businesses in GE Healthcare. And, that's one of the incredible aspects of the commercial leadership program is how closely you get to work with the executives within marketing or on the product side in the businesses and really developing strategies with the people that run and manage the company.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the third phase that you'll be going into. What are the expectations for that?
So the third phase really is an opportunity for you to get your feet wet. So after phase 1, when you've seen specialists in their field and you've seen their best practices on the sales side, and phase 2, when you actually get to see some inside information within corporate headquarters, you can leave and go into phase 3 really ready to sell. And while you're under the umbrella of the commercial leadership program, really the purpose of that is so that you can push your limits, you can take risks in terms of how you manage your customer relationships, how you try and develop sales, and you can still have the opportunity to make some mistakes. Obviously, we go out into phase 3 ready to go into customer accounts, managing a few of the hospitals, and communicating with the cardiologists or radiologists at those hospitals. But at the end of the day, you're still a trainee, so you have the opportunity to reach out to people within the program, learn and glean from what they're doing right, what mistakes they may be making. And at the end of that phase, which is only 6 months long, then you are a full-fledged product sales specialist in your field. So specifically, Peter, I'll be working within cardiovascular ultrasound. At the end of this program, I will be a representative for a specific territory in the United States, and I will be responsible for the hospitals in that territory. And you really manage your own territory, you manage your business. It is your responsibility in phase 3 and when you're a full-time rep to reach out to those hospitals, to set up customer meetings, and to really be a touch point and a resource for the customers that you are responsible for.
Okay, so Adam, tell us a little bit about some of the training that you have received as being part of the CLP program.
Well, Peter, specifically while I'm in the field and when I'm at headquarters, we have an internal training system that is called My Learning. Depending on the assignment, sometimes we'll have training on specific sales techniques, or we'll have training modules for our modalities to learn more specifically about cardiovascular ultrasound to help you speak to that modality when you're speaking with the cardiologists or the radiologists. In addition to that, of course, you have the informal training you receive from the experts in the field. I can definitely say that while I was down in New Orleans during my first phase, I had 4 or 5 hour trips one way to a hospital, and I would spend that time with a representative in the car. And of course, that's an opportunity you do not pass up. That's a chance to learn from the experts in the field. So really, that's kind of an informal way we receive training, but I would consider it maybe one of the most critical elements of our training experience. Additionally, in the way of informal training, because we get exposure to executives, we take every opportunity we have to learn from what they've done. Actually, at the end of phase 2, while we're here at headquarters, we have specific product training in classrooms. So I have not completed that yet, but I know that I'll be receiving specific training for cardiovascular ultrasound from some of the experts in the field. I'll get specific sales tools training from some of the IT department within healthcare. So really, it's kind of a 3-tiered training process while we're up here in Milwaukee.
Okay, so tell us about some of the people you've met and worked with at GE Healthcare.
On a more daily basis, I work with my project sponsors that may be marketing managers, but also my teammates. I mentioned I'm working on 4 projects. A few of those projects are team-based projects, and currently in Milwaukee, within my class of commercial leadership program trainees, there are 18 of us. We all have cubicles next to each other, and we will frequently interact when it comes to project deliverables or building, say, a plan for execution for any given projects. One of the key hurdles of the job is being able to prioritize your communication, and with 4 projects, it becomes somewhat of an additional task, but it's very critical, and I know that as part of the training program, it's something they want us to learn from so that when we're executives getting 400 emails a day, we know how to manage that amount of information.
So on a personal level, Adam, how do you feel the CLP program has helped in your career development and in furthering your professional goals?
When I was applying for a job, I knew I needed to do something that would keep me engaged, keep me excited, and also allow me to leverage what I've learned so far and what I'm going to learn working in a company and make an impact in that company, in that business. Really, coming to the commercial leadership program has allowed me to leverage some of my strengths and build upon maybe the weaknesses that I recognize coming into the company. So whether it's product or sales education or preparing you to interact with executives on a daily basis, really the CLP gives you a full range of those opportunities. We have the chance to see the inner workings, whether it's with a sales specialist or the engineering side, while having the responsibility to present and communicate to C-level managers. I should also say the responsibility within the commercial leadership program is really very unique. GE has really shown that it wants to train us while we get our feet wet. It's enabled me to learn quickly, make some mistakes, and have some early project successes. I don't think there are very many opportunities out there that allow you to have this level of responsibility and exposure this early on in a training career within a large company like GE. And, I mentioned this before, but you can make an impact within your business. The way this relates to career development and progression in my mind is when I'm working on a project, if I can see the end result and I can really feel a tangible connection to that project, it makes it that much more exciting to come to work every day. And when I wake up in the morning, I know that I have people that are depending on me within GE, and I think every one of my counterparts could say the same thing. We are here to make an impact within our businesses, and that's something that our manager really hopes for us to do while we're here at headquarters. And once we're out in the field, back during phase 3 and beyond, the hope is that we'll be able to take the relationships we've made here, keep in mind the lessons we've learned from working at a corporate headquarters and from working on the sales side, and potentially become the future leaders of the business, because this isn't a program only for sales. This is a program for becoming the future leaders of the company. And it's going to be difficult, definitely not something we feel entitled to, but at the end of the day, they're giving us the tools that will prepare us to be the future leaders of the company. I know there are many current executives from GE that came through leadership programs like the CLP, and I'm really excited to launch my career at GE. I think this is the only place I would want to be, and it's been tremendous so far. I look forward to the next 12 months.
Well, Adam, thank you so much for taking time to speak with us today on Jobs and Pods.
Absolutely, Peter. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
That will do it for this edition of Jobs and Pods. To be considered for the GE Commercial Leadership Program and learn about all the career opportunities at GE, visit ge.com/careers. We'll also place a link to these resources on Adam's feature page on jobsandpods.com. And remember, you can find us anywhere podcasts are, including iTunes, podcast.com, and even YouTube. And to stay current with all the great jobs, employers, and recruiters featured in our Jobcasts, check out our growing Jobs and Pods Facebook community and join in the conversation. Thanks for listening.